Hi, this is Marco Liz, and you're listening to Act Like a DJ with LPR.
Hey, we are Denzel Park, and you're listening to Act Like a DJ with LPR.
Hey guys, this is Stonebridge, and you're listening to Act Like a DJ with my boy LPR.
Right, it's sponsor time. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by those amazing guys over at Remix Juice Barley. Are you in Bali? Do you like juices? Well, you better get over to remixjuicebarley.com and find out why your juice should be a cold pressed one. Should you be drinking cold pressed juices? Of course you should. Basically, you don't lose any of the nutrients that sometimes get lost during normal centrifugal type presses. Okay, so cold pressed juices are the way to go. I absolutely love them. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a real big fan of vegetables or fruits at all. I know I'm a freak, but Remix Juice Barley have solved all my issues for me. I get to drink their juices every day, and I get to also try up the new products that they've got. They've got some great tasting stuff there. A Perfect Day is something that I personally recommend, as well as the chocolate almond milk. They do milks as well as salads and healthy snacks, as well as all the 3, 5 and 7 and even longer day cleansers. So all the information that you need is on remixjuicebarley.com. All you need to do is get over to that website, pick what you want. You can even tailor the orders depending on your own lifestyle, time of day that you would like it delivered. And if you purchase anything over 50,000, it is free delivery. The motto is simple: press today, deliver today. Okay, so get yourselves over to remixjuicebarley.com and get your orders in. Also, they're going to deliver for free in any of these areas. You've got Seminyak, Kuta, Canggu and Denpasar. So basically all your bases are covered in Bali. Get over to remixjuicebarley.com and place your order now. Hey guys, welcome to the show. This is LPR. Thanks for tuning in to Act Like a DJ. This is the very first episode, and today I had the privilege and the honour of interviewing none other than David Penn. David, for those of you that don't know, is a Spanish DJ from Madrid. He's been DJing for over 20 years. He's got a wealth of knowledge, experience and insights into the music industry, and such a great guy to talk to and sit down and spend some time with and really open him up. He's got all his social media details at the end of the podcast. I hope you really do go follow him and send him a tweet or a Facebook message. There's also going to be details of his label, Urbana Recordings, on how to get in touch and send him a demo. So don't hesitate to get your work in progresses finished and sent over to David. Act Like a DJ is all about getting some DJs who are on tour over in Bali and sitting down with them for an hour or so and really opening them up. Instead of having the generic black and white printed interview with 5 or so questions, this is a real chance for me and the listeners to understand a little bit more about these guys as they pass through the island. And what better way to start off this idea than with Mr. David Penn. Enjoy. How are you, mate?
Good, man. I'm recovering from last year, from last night. Sorry.
Oh man, yeah. How was it? How was the gig over at Mirror?
Yeah, it was very good. Very interesting place. It's like a church, and the atmosphere was very good, and I had a really good time. Yeah, it was very nice.
What type of vibe did you go for last night? What was the music style?
Well, I play. Sometimes I prefer to start more deeper. But I feel that the people need more energy so I start with some of my new tracks and a little bit of tech house, house principally, and at the end I put a lot of classics that the people were asking me. So yeah, it was fun because I played many tracks that from a long time ago, but many people ask me, hey, why don't you play that one? So at the end, the last 45 minutes were only classic from myself, So it was fun. And I'm impressed that many people know all that old songs,
Well, that's refreshing because it's very close to my heart, especially. I can't do a 2-hour DJ set without playing a classic. I just have to go back there all the time. It's maybe not so much as common anymore, where people they like to go and revisit classics, but if people know the song that you've played from 10 years ago, then you try another one, and then you start to feel it a little bit more. And I totally appreciate that. That's what it's all about. Interesting about Mirror, I remember before Mirror's not been open that long actually.
No,
but it's
about 7 months.
Super impressive. You just said you walk in, it's like look, for those of you that haven't been to Mirror, it is like a church. A lot of impressive high ceilings with the glass, and from a DJ's point of view, it must be, I've never played there personally, but it must be one of those venues where you come away and you think, wow, you know, that will stay in your memory, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I never play in a club like this, so I will not forget for sure.
Before it was created, we just saw the building work going on. A friend of mine called me from Jakarta, this is last year, and said, dude, I've got this guy with me, and he's thinking about opening a club in Bali. It's gonna be called Mirror. I'm like, okay, fine. What's the whole idea? He said, well, I'm not really sure, but I think it's going to be like a church. And straight away you think, that's new, that's pretty interesting. But apparently this guy had, I don't know if you've ever been to Jakarta. Have you ever been to? Yeah. The traffic, you think Bali traffic, and we all do, Bali traffic is insane. Jakarta, you've got to times that by 10. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
You know, you want to go 5 minutes away, yeah, okay, but it's going to take you an hour.
Yeah, I know. I spent a lot of time when I was in Jakarta.
Well, this guy calls me and he says, you're not going to believe like what's going on. This is so surreal. He said, I'm having dinner with a guy who's got so much money that he's brought 8 supercars with him. He's brought like 8 Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Range Rovers. He's just brought maybe more than $1 million worth of cars with him just for dinner, because sometimes he likes to choose which car he wants to drive home. So instead of just having one, he just brings 8. And then he drives one, and then his staff will drive the rest of them home in Jakarta. Maybe, you know, if you go and do that in LA, or if you go and do it in even Ibiza or Monaco somewhere, that's super rich.
Yeah.
But the traffic's not so crazy. You want to do it in Jakarta, try and get into second gear in a Lamborghini. But that's the guy behind the concept of Mirror. Okay, we're going to go into a little bit more now about your background. You mentioned how you're heavily influenced by the classics in your modern day sets when you can. Obviously, you've had a record label for over 10 years now. What can you tell me about that, Urbana Recordings?
Well, I remember when it was. Well, I had my label before, which was Sun Records, that I was releasing until 1999, and then I split with my partner, and I started to produce for other labels, and mostly in the United States. So the problem was at that time, you know, you couldn't find the music because it was vinyl. So if you were not in the shop the day of when the copies came, you never have the record. So many people told me about that, and say, why don't I create a new label with my stuff, and everybody can know where to find me, you know, where to find my music. So I started 2003, and you know, and it's now 12 years, you know, so it's cool, it's very good, you know, it's to be alive because it was everything changing, you know, and at that time I remember I just have to make the vinyl, and that's it. Don't have to make so much promotion. The promotion was you know, it flows, you know. I didn't make many things, you know. It was, for me, it was quite easier, you know, because I just had to think about press the vinyls, go to the distributor to send it. It was easier. And now you have to make socials. You have to make managers. You have to do many things.
You've got to bring everything together and then hope that afterwards that the record stands out somehow. So, but you mentioned an interesting point when you had to press the vinyls back when you first started out. Do you feel that you probably made more money through vinyl sales than you ever did or would through digital sales because of the accessibility?
Of course. And I remember that the vinyls, you start to earn something when you sell more than 1,000 copies. But at that time it was very normal to sell 2,000, 3,000. So of course, at that time was some money coming,
Yeah.
In the other hand, was sometimes not as good because the policy of the vinyl. I remember one day I received a courier and it brings me 3 big boxes full of vinyls that I sell 2 years before, and so I never get paid for that one. So, and the policy was like, okay, I sell to you, but you can give me 2 years later. So I still have many vinyls on my office because of that, and that was the bad thing about that, Also, many shops were closing, so many people disappear. So in one hand, at the beginning was very good because you can sell and you can take some money, but later was a little bit nightmare and say, okay, I stopped to make vinyls, but because all the shops were closing, and the people and the returns were more and more. So I prefer to start digital. But to be honest, I prefer that time. When you want to find a record, when you want to look for it and you can get it, and you do. You try to do the best to find it, But now it's quite easy, You can download everywhere in the world. It's cool for some things, but sometimes it's also you don't have this kind of illusion to get it,
I guess if you were a kid now and you wanted to find the latest David Penn music, you could find it pretty easily online because of the way that the internet is, and whether they're going to pay for it or they're not going to pay for it, they can still play your music, which I guess in some way it's promotion in some form, because if somebody likes that record, they're going to ask, who's that? And then David Penn, it's this, it's that. But I mean, I remember when I was maybe 15, 16, hearing stories in record shops in Liverpool where white labels were on sale, and white labels essentially, if people are unfamiliar, they were basically bootlegs. They were things that shouldn't necessarily have been able to be released. Mm-hmm. They didn't have permission to do so, but they released it anyway, and a lot of people made a lot of money off white label records. I mean, there was a record which was really big in Liverpool before. Remember the Shapeshifters with Lola's theme? Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe, I don't know, 2002, 2003. But there was a version before it was released, which was a white label, which I guess must have been put out by the Shapeshifters. But it was not the vocal that was resung. It was a kind of a more raw, in my opinion, a better vocal, and it was a bootleg. This white label went fucking crazy. I don't know statistically how many they sold, but everybody wanted
normally
it.
More than well, if it was good, I remember to get and you pay the same price as other records, and you were happy because not many people have it. I did it a few times to be honest. I did it a few times when I didn't get the permissions, and it was really easy to sell. It can be normally the vinyls have a code, and you have to put it out. You ask for the press factory to put it out, or sometimes you have to do it manually
yourself. 500 copies.
Yeah. And also put the stickers on it. Yeah. I did. I put a lot of stickers on many vinyls, because also when there were official records, I had to put on the first promos. The first promos were white labels, so I have to put for example, Deux, the first Deux. I remember we pressed 500 copies, the first white labels, and I have to put all the stickers on it one by one. So I remember that time, but it was fun, It was another time,
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's good to talk about it now. At the time, you're probably like, oh, what the fuck, I've got to do 400 more by hand. But now it's all good. It's certainly where I started vinyl. So I caught it right at the end, I guess, when I finally had enough money to buy my Technics. Mm-hmm. I learned on them. I learned on lesser model turntables, like the cheap ones.
Yeah.
Eventually worked my way up to buying these Technics 1210s. They're fucking heavy. Mm-hmm. When you get them out the box and you're like, I know. These are bulletproof. These are weighing like 12 kilos each or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just as I felt that I was on the right track DJing, then the whole fell out of vinyl, and everybody started to sell them, and the CDJ had just kind of arrived on the scene. So I hope I sold mine at the right time, because I seemed to get a good price. And then the next day I remember checking on eBay, and you could get a pair of Technics turntables for about 140 euros. They were super cheap. Wow. And I think I sold mine for, in pounds, was 550 pounds with a shitty mixer.
Yeah.
As a package. But then, like, literally the next day, you could not sell them. People were on Facebook had just started, and forums, like, on the internet, and people were saying, I've got these Technics, anybody want to buy them? I'll take £100 for both. And people were saying, no, I don't want them. I'm going to save my money and buy a CDJ. I don't want them. And now it's starting to creep back in. You get the people who are.
I will never sell mine.
Oh yeah, well, you see this.
I still have it, and I don't use it so much. I would like to use it more, but it's very complicated to find vinyls right now. And mostly on my city, where I have the studio, I took the studio because it was in the area of record shops in the center of Madrid, and now all disappeared. I think maybe it's one little shop, so it's not as good, as this thing. But I always liked vinyl,
Yeah.
It took me time to change to CDs at the beginning, because I didn't want to, but were less vinyls. The problems on the flights, I had all the time having problems because the weight, and I didn't want to check in, so to put on the inside the plane, so it was a little bit nightmare. That's why I changed, but it took me time.
So you mentioned earlier as well about your side project that you do with Tony Bass. For those of you that don't know, David Penn does not just produce under that name. He's got another name. Now, you may have heard of this name before, but you just may not have known that it was associated with David. What is your alter ego?
Deux.
And that's interesting. Say it again.
Deux.
Deux. Now,
in Spanish is Deux, and in French is Deux.
we were talking before we went on air that in England we always called it Dukes. That was just how it is, but we also knew that in French it's Deux. Yeah. So I was very keen to ask David straight away, how do you actually pronounce this? And I'm sure all the Liverpool people who were listening to this will be pleased to know that it is actually Dukes. So we were talking as well about Sun Rising Up. Is that probably is it your favourite of the Dukes records, or is it kind of just one that was created and it's kind of gone from strength to strength?
Of course, it's a track that I'm still playing, when I finish my sets many times. Also, the first Dukes, which was called Dukes, also was also a success. But you know, it was not. It was more original because it have a guitar riff and there's no vocal on it. But you know, it's still working. But yeah, maybe Sunrise in Up is the biggest one. You know.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that I was
this project. I mean.
We were talking earlier as well. I still play there was a remix package that was done a year or two ago. For those of you that haven't heard the updated version and you're still stuck in a little bit of nostalgia, I personally recommend the T. Tommy, Victor Perez and Vicente Ferrer remix. I play it all the time at a party that I do in Bali, a splash party. It's really, really cool. Okay, moving on. So we've got as well a radio show that you do. Tell us a little bit more about that. How did that come about, and how is that? How much success has that brought to your social presence? I guess because of a lot of people, they create podcasts to try and reach out to the fans that they have, and they gain more fans through that. Have you found that that's happened through the Urbana radio show? Maybe.
To be honest, I don't compare. I just started one day because a friend of mine in a local radio in Madrid told me, well, why not you make a program? And I said, well, I never did. I never did that. So, okay, why not try? Okay. So I remember the first day, I was so nervous because I never spoke in a microphone, only on interviews. But when I had to, to present the music and, to be, the kind of speaking in the radio. I remember that the first day I was so nervous and I was speaking on this track, blah blah blah, and I received a text message from a friend. I said, "Are you hungry? What happened to you?" They said, "No, I'm okay." Yeah, but your voice is like, oh, so it's like not fun. I say, oh, really? So that's why I started, and I heard myself and I say, yes, it's true. It's like, hello, blah blah blah. And so sometimes you need to do not so exaggerate. How do you say that? Not so much. Some people it's changed a lot the voice. No, I don't want that. But sometimes you have to make some expression on the voice.
Well, it's like what we're doing now, I guess. It's this, we were saying before, I'm impressed that you can understand how I speak, because being from Liverpool, and anyone back home who's listening to this, they're going to be thinking, Lloyd, you don't talk like that normally. Yeah.
But I appreciate because if not, maybe I will miss many.
It's all good. No, because being here for 4 years or so, you kind of have to talk a little bit different, a little bit slower, just so that everybody can understand you. But for sure, I mean, if I'm back home in a bar somewhere, I'm talking a lot faster than this. But yeah, no, that's all good, because as long as you can understand me, then that's all that matters, I guess. I was going to ask you your first impressions of Bali, but this is not actually your first impression of Bali. You played here last year?
Yeah.
At Coup d'etat. How was that?
Well, it was very, very good. I really enjoyed that day because I was playing in the sunset, about 3 hours show, and I was really impressed because the people were having fun. The people enjoyed a lot my music. What was one of the best gigs from last year. I was impressed because I expect more tourists don't care so much about the music, and I was impressed that the people enjoy. It was a lot of fun. I made many friends from different parts of the world. They came to the DJ booth. So I had a really good time.
How does Bali compare music-wise to maybe some of the other gigs that you play around the world? Do you play slightly different when you play in Bali to, for example, I know you're going to Bulgaria soon, or if you play in Ibiza or even Spain?
I think it's not about the country or the city. It's about the place where you are going to. For example, I was a month ago in Argentina, and I went to 2 different places, one in Buenos Aires, and was good atmosphere, but not crazy. The people, were nice, were funny, but I didn't feel crazy. And I went to another city in the south, and it was amazing. It was more underground crowd, all the people dancing. Not the kind of place that people drinking and showing there a lot of tables. No, that place was about the music, was about dance, and I was impressed when I came into, and everybody were dancing. Everybody, people in the bar, people everywhere. It was not so big place, but the energy was amazing. So I played there about 122, and I didn't have to BPMs. I mean, and was a lot of fun. I made whatever I want, no, because I could play more from the deeper side and then go to more tech house, you know. And it's what I prefer. But sometimes when you are the headliner, the resident DJ, depends on the club in some places, but people needs a little bit more energy, you know. So
sure.
Depends on the place. Normally I always like to go 1 hour before my set to see how is the crowd, how is the feeling, and because of that I choose the direction, no, and of the beginning. Later I will see, you know, it depends on how the people are feeling. I'm not changing a lot but I do different than, for example, if it's an underground place that the people is more quiet with the sound, don't need so much energy. So I prefer to start from deep to that. And in other places, people want more fun. I start more heavy, but not so, you know, because I play house, you know, but more energetics.
You mentioned that you like to go an hour before your gigs and just see what the vibe is and see what the residence is playing. Have you ever had any like nightmare scenarios where you've arrived to the club and the DJ who's on before you is playing full EDM at 131 BPM?
It happened to me. I remember.
Talk a bit about that.
I remember about, I don't know, 5 years ago, and the guy was playing a little bit hard, you know. And the last track he played before my set was one Swedish House Mafia track. The first one, I think it was called One or something like that. Yeah, was the first one. I said, now's your time. I said, thank you so much. You know my style, and you are bringing me this shit, you know. I mean, this shit because it's not my style, you know. And it's not.
And he's teed you up with probably the biggest EDM record in the world at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about
have no sense, you
blowing your balls with one track. I mean, it's not like he's give you anything to go higher than.
Exactly. No. Everything that I could play was deeper than that. You know? So it was a difficult for me. Well, the people at the end understood my music, and that was fine. But to start playing in a club like this is, you know, I think the people saw my face, you know, because it has no sense to bring me to a club, but it not many times happen, but sometimes happen that the DJ before wants to put all of his tracks, he's playing with me, blah blah blah, but at the end you have to be a little bit more professional and try to do the best for the guest DJ, you know.
Well, I guess in his mind,
but some people are young, don't have so experience. Is their time to the place is full and they want to play, you know.
They're on the fly with David Penn, so they're gonna, you know, all their friends are there. They're gonna.
I didn't think about that. You know, could be a problem for me to start, you know, because I prefer to start slowly. I'm not the kind of DJ that starts with so strong music because it's not my style, you know. So sometimes it's happening and it's not good. A long time ago that it's not happening to me, but sometimes happen and they say wow. Or for example, you are in a dinner speaking with some you know, promoters, and they tell you about the club, about the music, about everything. Oh, we like it like this, and when you come to the club, it's absolutely different than they talk. I say, what the fuck did you told me? You know, you told me that it's this, that is. Oh no, but this is a special day, blah blah blah, whatever. sometimes happen, you know, that the first impression that the promoter tells you, and the end is totally different. So sometimes you never know what to expect.
Yeah, that's why you go earlier, I guess, and just see if the promoter's full of bullshit.
Or to say to the DJ, go slowly.
No Swedish house mafia before I go on, please. So, do you prefer to do longer sets? Because I know a lot of DJs. I guess we find that the average DJ set is around about 2 hours. People can go longer for sure. It's not a problem, and a lot of the times, if there's somebody due to go on after you at Mirror or after you at Coup d'Etat, for example, if they're always going to say first, do you want to carry on? And a lot of the times DJs like to do that, but some don't. Do you prefer to do like 3-4 hour sets, or do you like to kind of show your skill set within a short time?
To be honest, normally in the contract says 2 hours, because if the place is not good, you know, I don't want to play more than 2 hours, you know, or if the place is not, it's nothing good, you know, or the party is shit. You can go you have to play only 2 hours, but normally I always play more than 2 hours, 3 hours. It depends also on the crowd, you know, because if I feel the people is enjoying. Just for example, yesterday night I supposed to play. One guy told me, you are going to play one because when I was playing 1 hour and a half, he told me, you are going to finish. I said, no, I'm okay. I'll continue. So at the end, I was playing. I don't know, maybe 3 hours, and at the end were not many people in the club, but if it's 20 persons that like my music, for me it's okay, you know. I don't need thousands of people. I need to feel that the people is enjoying my music, so I can continue if the people is liking my music, you know. People like my music. I always prefer to play more, of course, and sometimes when the crowd is good, you want never stops.
Yeah, I understand. So, apart from Mirror, because I'm gonna help you out a little bit now, but you can't say Mirror. What's the best gig you've ever done in your whole life?
Wow, difficult to say. I have many good ones, you know.
Or something that would be in your top 5.
Well, for example, I remember a couple of gigs in Seoul, in South Korea. Amazing, because the people really stay with you all the time, enjoying, having fun, and I was surprised because I never been there before. The first time I was impressed because the club and all the lighting, everything was amazing. The sound really. I saw lights that now I'm seeing more in more clubs, but maybe 6-7 years ago, I was impressed with the ceiling of the club was full of lights and really special lights, and the sound. It was really really professional done in the club. Really good sound, good lighting, and the crowd amazing. So this one was one of the better ones. Also in Ibiza, in Pacha, I had really good times also, and for example, as I told you, also in Argentina, I have had really good gigs in there, because I didn't know until 3 years ago that many of my tracks were very famous there. So I remember I was playing Club One, it's called, and it's a huge one, really, I don't know, 3,000 people or more. It was impressive because it was big, but the feeling was very, very good, because sometimes the big places, people is more cold, or
you get a bit lost, doesn't
it?
Yeah,
but this place was amazing. All the people, the Argentinian people is they like to dance a lot, and it was a fantastic gig, and I was surprised because they asked me to play one track that I made in 2005, which was El Sur, and 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 they told me play it, and I said why? It's old one, you know. It can be sounds really old. And I say no, play it. And when I play, I was impressed because all the people know that song was amazing. I say yeah, and they say yeah because and also very young people that know that track, you know. They say maybe 8 years ago they didn't went to discotheques, you know, to clubs. So, and they say, yeah, because some of your tracks are still playing every week. And so it was fantastic, no, to see the reaction. But you know, I can miss more gigs because I really, you know, had good gigs. But maybe this one more on the better.
We'll come back to Ibiza in a moment. But it's interesting that you've just said about playing something that you produced years and years ago, and then putting it in your sets and having such a good reaction from the crowd. Because I know personally we've had DJs coming through Bali who sometimes they don't play their own music because they see the crowd and perhaps the DJ that was on before them have played a certain style or a certain way, and they feel like they need to follow, whether that's commercial or something. But I remember one example. I was looking after a DJ in a club that I used to work at a couple of years ago, and really good producer, maybe 9 or 10 tracks of his own that he produced, which for sure he could have played. And then like 1 hour into his DJ set, he didn't play any of his own music. And sometimes that's okay. I mean, if I play my own music, I won't play all of it in one set, you know, yeah, for example. But some people, they either will or they won't, or they'll play something, you know, something that will give the crowd who've paid money a reason to go and see that DJ, you know. But this guy didn't play anything of his own. So then I remember a guy hand his iPhone over the DJ booth just with something on the screen.
Yeah.
He typed a message into his notes, and I remember looking over the DJ's shoulder. Basically the message just said, "Why the fuck aren't you playing any of your own music?" And the guy was so pissed off. Like, this guy is maybe, I don't know, 22, something like that. It's not you know, a guy who's just turned up, who's 30 and knows every record that this guy's ever made. You know, this guy obviously wanted to party no matter what. But he showed the DJ like halfway through his set, "Why the fuck didn't you play any of your music?" And then it really messed with his head then. He's like, "Why didn't I play any of my music?" And then he starts to get a little bit more relaxed and play some of his own productions. And it worked because people wanted to see him DJ with his own stuff, because, you know, that's why he's there in the first place.
I think the same. I'm really impressed when I see some DJs that they don't play their own music. So for me, it have no sense that, okay, you are known because of their music, but you go to play and you play music from others. So I really don't understand. I always play my music, you know, not all the music, depends on the crowd, depends on the place, depends how I feel this day, but always I put and sometimes, like yesterday, the people that stay at the end were asking me many old tracks, and I was playing, you know, that from a long time ago. And I really enjoy it, because if the people wants to hear my tracks playing by me, it's amazing, you know. It's the best thing, you know, because they are coming for you, not maybe because they just passed this day to the club and they don't know about you, you know. It's great when someone comes to the DJ booth and don't ask you about to play, you know, some commercial shit. So it's good when it comes someone and say, why don't you play your track, blah blah blah, you know. So it's always good for the DJ and for a producer to feel that. Yeah,
I mean, it's funny you just said about people asking for commercial stuff while you're playing. About 3 weeks ago, this is in the same sentence. This is not like 10 minutes apart or 1 hour apart. In the same sentence, a girl comes up to me and asks, "Can I play either Justin Bieber or Maceo Plex?" I'm like, you couldn't be any further apart with those two styles of music.
In the same sentence. Wow.
It's like, she didn't say like Maceo Plex and then 20 minutes later, "Oh, well, if you're not going to play Maceo Plex, how about Justin Bieber?" It was, "Can you play Justin Bieber or Maceo Plex?" I'm like, I just burst out laughing. I thought it was a joke. I'm like, you cannot be serious. You can't be asking me such two different ends of the musical spectrum.
It happened to me, but with different person. This is really special. You have never heard this kind of different styles, you know. Yeah, and also, to be honest, there are sometimes when a girl comes to the DJ booth, you know, not always, you know, and I'm going to tell you this, but I remember one day I was playing in a club and one girl came and they said, you know, she didn't know who I am. She started to speak in me and I don't remember what it was, but it was another language I didn't understand. I said, I'm sorry, I only speak English or Spanish. And the girl said, can you play, I don't know, commercial, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry. And sometimes they get angry with you, you know. It's like, I say, well, I don't have it, you know, and they don't believe you. Why not? And too many things. I say, okay, bye. But I remember that day, you know, one girl, two girls, the third girl, and the fourth girl. When it came, I say, I'm gonna kill one. And she said, why don't you play your track like that? And I say, I gave her a hug. And I say, oh my God, finally, you know, a girl that comes to ask me for a track from me, you know. Yeah. So it sometimes happen, you know. And also when it's at night, the people want to hear his favorite song, and they don't care about if it fits with the things so sometimes it's a little bit mess, you know. But anyway, I can understand. But as you said, sometimes it's absolutely different. That someone, I remember one place asking me in the half an hour about reggaeton, trance, and rap, hip hop, and so. What is this? You know, it has no sense. You know, people is drunk and wants to listen whatever. You know.
Oh, you're the jukebox. They expect you to have everything.
I say that. You know, okay, no, but the worst thing is when you tell gentle, no, I'm sorry, I don't play this. Well, and they say, oh, it's impossible, or that song that is very popular, and say, no, I'm sorry, I don't have it. I don't know this song, and they look at you like. It's impossible that you don't know the song. Well, it's impossible for you, but maybe you don't know my music, you know. So.
Did you ever have anyone who has the song on their phone and they tell you to listen while you're in the DJ booth and you've got the speakers, the monitors?
I'd say no.
Oh, honestly, when people come into the DJ booth, I turn the monitors up, so I might. I can't hear you. I'm really sorry. I can't hear what you're saying. And then they show me and they say, no, listen, I have this R&B track on my phone. Can you listen to it? I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm trying. I always try to be gentle because with all that sometimes it's you know it's a nightmare that we're asking you about that, as you said, as a jackbox. You know, if you are going to and to be honest, I don't understand why people wants to hear the same music that is listening in the car, listening in the radio, the most popular track of the moment, and they want to listen in the club 5 times, you know. So, it's not my point of view, you know.
This is the world that we live in, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
If they like that music, let them like it. It's not our cup of tea, but I'm sure that there's people listening who say, well, I really like Justin Bieber, or, you know, I really like R&B. That's fine, you know, if you listen to that music, or if you like that music, we're not saying that you can't like it or you can't listen to this show. Yeah. What we're saying is, we don't play it, so please, if you're in the crowd and you hear something totally different to what you want, it might not be the easiest thing for us to fit into one of our DJ sets.
Yeah, so and also it could be curious to do a session with all the people asking you the tracks, because it could be the most strange session in the world, you know, because everyone likes different styles, so it could be funny just to like experiment, just to do something like this, because it could be terrible.
That's what, well, we should try it. We should make it work.
It could be terrible. No, I mean, I will not do it, you know, but it could be terrible to be in the dance floor and hear one underground track, one commercial with reggaeton. It could be.
I think I can convince David to do a show where everyone SMS to a big screen, and whatever you ask for, he's going to play it, and in whatever order it comes up on the screen,
exactly,
he's going to do it
one by one.
Yeah, I think we've got the best nights that we've had in 10 years.
Or the worst.
Well, who's to know? We talked a little bit before about Ibiza, but you're not there this summer. Tell us a little bit more about where you're headed after Bali. I know you're going to have a little bit of family time and a holiday after you get home off your 21-hour flight. But then after that, what are you what's next for David?
Well, I was in Ibiza last month and was in June. It was cool, but always June, always Ibiza is good when the openings, and then there are 2 weeks that are still quiet, you know. So I was at the end of these 2 weeks, so was nice. I was playing in a catamaran. It was very, very nice, very funny party. Also in a terrace of Ocean Drive Hotel. It was cool, but you know, it was not as much. To be honest, I prefer July to play in Ibiza because August is too much. It's too much people everywhere. It's too many people, much traffic. So, but it depends. Now there is a lot of competition right now. There's a lot of DJs everywhere, you know. So I prefer. I have better offers outside, you know. I always like to go to Ibiza. That depends on the year, depends on the parties, you know.
Depends on the drinks prices, doesn't it?
Exactly. But so I'm going this after Bali. I'm going to Bulgaria. I'm going to also Barcelona.
Well, where in Barcelona is it? Have you played at Sonar before? Do you ever get to go mix it up with those guys? Do you prefer to do shows just in Madrid or Barcelona, or do you get to? Is there quite a good house music scene across the whole of Spain now?
Well, in some years ago, it was some years ago I was playing more in Spain, but now with the crisis, the last years, the scene is getting smaller and smaller because the people have no money, you know. Before everybody can go outside every weekend, and now maybe the people can go outside one weekend. So sometimes it's very difficult, and I feel it when I play in my country. You know, it's not nice because I would like to, you know, to play more in my country, but the last times, the last years, as I told you, people don't have so much money and there are less offers, you know. So it's not good because there were many places closed in some regions that I was playing more, small cities. Some friends told me that there are no house places, you know, not only pachanga, which is you know, very commercial music, and it's curious that now the electronic music is more popular, but I remember 10 years ago playing more in Spain, and you know, weren't so popular as popular, but were much more places playing house music, you know. So it's not a really good moment in Spain, and I hope it will change, you know, because always have really good parties and the people like too much to go to at night, you know. But in the last years were more difficult. This year I was playing a little bit more. I hope that something is going a little bit better, but yeah, not as good as I would love.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before we started the podcast, but like a few years ago, I used to play EDM. exclusively. I used to play 5 or 6 nights a week to a packed dance floor, which as a DJ, I guess the best thing that you can ask for is to have a full dance floor of people who want to party, who want to, go a little bit crazy. Maybe they've had a few drinks or whatever. But I mean, I was saying, like, on a Monday night, you wouldn't know the difference between a Monday night and a Saturday because it would be full anyway. And you could be DJing at 12:30 on a Monday night, and it would look in front of you like it was a Saturday. People are going crazy, and yes, the music was very commercial influenced, and it was EDM. It was just starting to explode and things like that. But as a DJ, it was still a full dance floor, and there's a lot of worse gigs that you could do on a Monday night for example, in November, than playing to a full crowd. It was fun, it wasn't where my heart was at. I was never an EDM DJ, but it kept me on this island for a long time. To be able to stay here, it was something that I needed to do, and I had fun doing it. It wasn't like I really hated my job. I didn't hate it at all. It wasn't, as like I said, EDM wasn't something that I really loved, or I was always a house DJ or a tech house or even a deep house DJ at heart. I just didn't get the chance to play it. But in your position, having always gone through and produced and had success in the house genre, how was EDM, the explosion of EDM rather, like 5-6 years ago, how did that affect you? Did it really? You talked about Madrid and Spain don't have so many house places now. Is that because of the economy, or is that because of EDM, or how does it affect you?
I think it's more because of the crisis, because many places closed, But it became very popular, and to be honest, was not very good for me, because just before the EDM, I was selling records more. House was more, was more popular. I remember to have many tracks on the top 10 on Beatport, just house music, Yeah. And when it changed, many people changed to the other style, and I maybe I'm I don't know, romantic or whatever, but I don't want to, I'm not the kind of DJs to that can change one day and switch to other style, I can't do it, I can explore different touches, different, you have to go with the times, but I can't say, okay, now is this the music? Okay, I will do this. No, I like to do the music that I feel, and it was not easy for me and for many producers, because everybody wants at that time this kind of music, and it was not easy to continue, and that I didn't want to change a lot, maybe. As I told you, sometimes I go more deeper, sometimes more tech house. It depends, but always in my style. I would like. I can't do something that I don't believe in.
I guess the good news is it seems to be shifting again now. Like, house seems to be coming right back, which is
finally,
it's about time. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be a good time now. 2015, it's got to be a good time for house music producers, just yourself.
I think so. I'm feeling much better in playing. Depends on the places, But in some places, when the EDM came, for example, in Brazil, it was terrible, because it's. I was impressed the first day I went. When I arrived from the airport directly to a club, and the guy was playing about deeper, but the people doesn't move so much, But so I start my set, and people didn't dance because they want EDM. So I remember I play a remix of some popular track, but a house remix that I like. And the people go crazy in that track, and the people putting their hands in the air, and everybody looking at me. And I remember I was mixing the next track, and the people turned around and they didn't dance because they don't know that song. And I said, what is this, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel really impressive that the people don't want to hear something different. They want to hear the same all the time. And I'm not this kind of DJ. To be honest, was maybe 5 years ago, and was the explosion of the ADM, and was everything new, and everybody wants that music. So at the end, I couldn't do that, and I couldn't understand it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what David's trying to say is he loves playing in Brazil, so please just let him play his style and a little bit more of what he can bring to the table, because I've listened to tons of your shows and especially your radio shows and things like that, and you can't sit still. Your style is infectious. I mean, and it goes along with what you said earlier about the right time, mixing the right classic song and having that type of feel. But I feel my style is very similar to yours in terms of what I would like to play. I don't get as much chance to play around the world and in the style that you do and that you like to. But if anyone in Brazil is listening and would like to book both of us, then I'm sure that we can make it work.
It changed. To be honest, now the scene changed, and now there are going more underground DJs, and the scene is changing. But I remember that time was difficult for me to try to fix that, you know.
The explosion.
Now it's changing. Thank God it's changing in Brazil, and there are good places, and not focus on the commercial thing, you know. But the first years was only that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to listen any other things, you know. So was not so good.
By the way, if people out there are listening and are EDM fans, then for sure get in touch, because it's not something that neither of us are hating on or don't like. It's just that I'm in the privileged position now to be having a conversation with David, who has his own music style, just like anybody who's listening has their own music preference, like everybody.
Of course,
everybody's gonna have their own, like.
Of course, I don't hate it. It's something that I don't feel, but I don't hear it, and I respect it. Of course, I respect every music, you know. I say what I feel, especially, but not. I don't think for me it's not my style, but I don't think is you know, it's another style of music, and many young people like it, you know. But it's not for me. It's for kids.
Yeah. Something that people don't know about you is the one thing that you can pick that people who are listening, they might not know about David Penn. Just one little thing, if that is in fact your real name.
My real name is not, my surname is not Penn, because it was, my real surname is Peñin with Ñ, you know, so this letter is not possible. Outside of Spain, nobody can tell. So if you put it out, it's like David Pennin, but it doesn't sound so good. And I remember I was with DJ Choose, and he told me, why not you put out the I and put Penn? And I said, oh, okay. So finally many people think that I'm English, but no, I'm Spanish, and this is more easy to remember the name, but this is the thing. Also, the people that follow me knows it very well, but some people don't know that I also was after the Night Train, you know, the track that was when I was really young, you know. So it's curious that people that knows you, that for example, one day speaking and say that, you know, for example, the Night Train and K-Dog was a huge #1 everywhere. Absolutely. And but also I had other projects. Was Montilla was another aka that I have, and it had success. So I made a lot of music with different names. In the last years, I mostly use David Penn and my other project Deux. But in the past, when I started, I was doing many different. Every record was with different names, you know. So it was fun because at that time it was more important to get records, but not to have many different projects, you know. But I focused more in the last years to David Penn. And what else I can say? I don't know. I like to cook, for example.
We've already got 2, and now we've got a third that he likes to cook as well. Okay, we're kind of running out of time, but I would love it if you could tell everyone what's happening in the studio right now.
Well, I'm producing a lot this year because I was feeling that the last year that I was not doing as much as I could, you know. Or I was more relaxed, you know, about production. But this year I think, okay, I have to return to stay more hours in the studio. I also stay a lot of hours, you know, but a little bit not so concentrate, you know, or mainly travelings, many flights. So at the end, I was not much time in the studio, and I passed this year much time. During the night, during the day, you know, and I'm feeling very good because I'm releasing more music, because my label needed more music, you know, that I was not releasing so much. And I'm happy because I have many projects coming because, for example, I have a collaboration with the Cube guys. I made a track with them 2 years ago, and also with
work. Their work's great. I play a lot of
in the air. Yeah. Also, I'm doing a track with Sandy Rivera. Another track with the singer of Hercules and Love Affair, which is called Gustav. Also, I have a track with Candy Station. That is a dream for me because it was a diva from the 70s and it's still rocking, you know, and still doing. I contact her and she told me, okay, let's do it. So there is a lot of projects coming in the next months, also remixes. So I'm working a lot in the studio right now, yeah, and I'm feeling better and better, you know, because when you produce more, it's not easy because to be honest, I spend more time now than before to finish a track, but you know. You need to be more exigent. Exigent? No, how do you say that with your music? You have to be more. I don't know in English the word, but I mean, you have to be happy 100% with the track. And I take maybe to make the idea not too much time, but to finish the tracks. I spend a lot of time because I need to. For example, I do a track today. For today is the best track that I made, you know. But you have to. Some people, when I ask for remixes, they do it in 2 days, and they send me and they say, "Oh, it's nice." I say, "Well, when I make a track, I do it, and when I think it's more or less done, I leave it for 5-6 days or 1 week, and then I listen in 1 day because
fresh."
And you hear it fresh, and you can say, okay, this is shit, or it's very good, you know. But you need to hear it with fresh ears, you know. Sometimes the people, as I told you, send you a remix in 2 days, and they didn't try it, they didn't test it, and they feel okay. Oh no, I'm happy with that. I can't do that, you know. I prefer to take more time to finish, to good mixing, and to test it in the clubs.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to help a few of the listeners out here because you did kind of say that Urbana needs a few more releases this year. So if anybody out there has spent more than 2 days on a track and they want to send their demos to you, how can they send a demo to David Penn? What address do they need to send?
Yeah, it's demos@urbanarecordings.com.
Okay, that was demos@urbanarecordings.com. So and what type of style do you prefer to release on that, for those who don't know, before you get all the Justin Bieber remixes?
From deep house to tech house, you know. I always said that I like the music that express something, you know. I don't like this kind of music that, okay, it starts good and at the end it's like unfinished music. No, each track needs to be special, and you have to remind something of this track, you know. That's why I'm not releasing too much music, because I need to be, you know, to release a record that have something special.
Yeah.
Not it's just because I have to release something, you know.
Okay, so that was demos at urbanarecordings.com. So get your special productions over to David, and I'm sure he's going to listen to each and every one of them. Just to close then, I'm going to give you the opportunity to give all your social media addresses out. How can people follow you and see what's going on in the world of David Penn?
Okay, on Instagram and on Twitter I have at DJ David Penn, and in Facebook it's David Penn Fans and Urbana Recordings. And what else? On SoundCloud also David Penn, and also Urbana Recordings. You can find all my music there, and also my radio show. Every week I make my radio show, and that's it.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy man, and you can, after this, you can go and have some family time for a few weeks in the south of Spain. David Penn, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, thank you.
So guys, there you have it. That was the first edition of Act Like a DJ with me, LPR. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Big thanks again to David Penn, who gave up his time and energy to speak with me. He was a really great guy to talk to. I really hope you guys go and follow him. All the details were listed by the man himself just a few moments earlier. If you want to catch up with me, you can find me on Twitter /LloydPringleLPR, and also Twitter /ActLikeADJ if you want to keep up with the podcast. Big thanks again to our sponsors, Remix Juice Barley. If you want the freshest and the best barley fruit juices delivered straight to your door, please go to remixjuicebarley.com and get your orders in. Big thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. See you next time.